Diamond Leah attacking now. On the Spot News Media. Send this a road. We a fighter. Say you a fighter. Diamond Leah. Guys, I just wrote this, so bear with me. Bear with me. We a fighter. Try to fight life, but life a fight back. Who not like me know them a go like that. But for me time must come, tell them type that. Promise, when I want to quit. I have to fight my lungs, it kinda hard to believe. Disappointment too feels like it attacked to me. See the past we just try to run from just a touch away. Long time we a work, but them not see the word. We a try to run from pain, but always see your hurt. Try to escape trouble, but why it see we first? Now you understand the type of life, but we just see your hurt. They must have to try, so we try a little harder. They might tell us that the breakthrough with them round the corner. As we reach, we get style, you will see the barber. Chano. Just want to fly out somebody, give me passport. Like the place that we call home, I said for Panum. The type of life that we live for only Chano. But we a fighter. We a fight life, some life a fight back. The people them wanna like with them, I gonna like that. But we must get to breakthrough, tell them type that. Say we a fighter. Say you a fighter. Say we a fighter. We a fighter. We a fighter. I'm see a fraudster. I'm see a pastor. I'm see a woman give a jacket to a man when she knows that the man not the father. I'm see a pastor. I'm see a fraudster. I'm see a man that donate little sperm and I didn't go on like him a the father. But something put down for no. And one thing me, I call it a karma. Like, wanna love the drama. When you a ball for. When me a ball for. When me a fighter. And you a fighter. Who know them not gonna like that. Them not gonna like that. But we a go fight back. Time and Leah. Hey, share this. Me know you hear this. Motivation free. You don't even have to pay me.
On the Spot News Media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype. We make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what Guan. A blessed and wonderful Friday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we are going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps. In the morning here, to the name Friday, the day when Mr. Smile pan some of the ones them pocket. So while you're out there traversing these streets from Moran Point to the Grill Point, as always, my peeps, safe travel, pan the gravel, and continuously look out on the corner here, cause the old dirty corner boy them always out there. Alerts, yeah man. So as the artist Diamond Leah rightfully stated, we are fighter. Yeah man. Resilience is in our DNA. We have to now seek to start embracing who we are. Not just as a black person, but as a true, authentic Jamaican. Sometimes I sit and wonder if we understand what it means to be a true, authentic Jamaican and how the rest of the world view us as Jamaicans. We are looked up to as one of the greatest nations ever on this earth. And for our size, the global impact of Jamaica is unmatched. Let me give a few examples. There is only 2 countries that have kept the Miss World and the Miss Universe title 3 times. And if memory serves me correct, it's Jamaica and the United States of America. So when we compare the size of the US, the size of Jamaica, look at the impact that we have. In cricket, Jamaicans have dominated. In football, we have created history. In track and field, we have been dominating that space for years. Even in a sport that is non-existent in Jamaica, we are talking about bobsled. And if you talk about music, there is never a revolution or a mass protest in any country right across the world that you don't hear a revolution song being played by the late great Robert Nesta Marley. The product of Jamaica, Marcus Garvey. You see those persons in America that has stamped their mark in black liberation. We are talking about the Martin Luther King Jr. We are talking about the Malcolm X. We are talking about the Louis Farrakhan. Those men are all byproducts of a Jamaican man, Marcus Messiah Garvey. So we are not just ordinary black people, Jamaicans. We need to start appreciating ourselves for who we really are. I've said this on many different occasions and on many different forums. Sad to say, everybody else in this world love Jamaicans with the exception of some Jamaicans. Yeah, man. Really, really sad. Now, in this morning's vlog, I will be playing mostly certain clips from the NSC meeting yesterday. That's the National Security Council emergency meeting yesterday. So you can hear for yourself the developments, the plans as it relates to Jamaica's security apparatus. So the official count in that massive gunfight at the wharf right across from Tivoli Gardens, so along Industrial Terrace and Marcus Garvey Drive. The official count is not 220 but 233 illegal weapons and way over 50,000 rounds of ammunition. Up to news time, the police them pass 50,000 and still counting. So in that fine, 74 high-powered rifles were seized and 159 handguns. So this is not no joke business, my peeps. And it just leaves me to wonder, how can we even fathom the thought to accommodate or try to assist a criminal in any way? How do we as a nation get to the point where we embrace criminality, embrace the very person who sent those weapons to our dearly beloved island home, weapons of mass destruction that will only cause the loss of life of our people? How can we as Jamaicans even think about encouraging crime and criminality of that magnitude in our dearly beloved island home, Jamaica? I saw a clip the other day, and I'm not against our dancehall music in no way, shape or form. But this is just to show you the mindset that we are wired to be violent The football match between Jamaica and another Caribbean country was about to kick off. And the selector play a song that is done by a Jamaican dancehall artist, Massacre. Good artist, lyricist, trust me, have that part. But that particular song was riddled with violence. And when the song dropped in at the stadium, the entire stadium erupted. Everybody in there sing it word for word. And not consciously knowing that we are displaying how violent of a people we are to the entire world. Because that is the type of music that has been engraved in our DNA to a point where we don't even understand that we are falling victim to this type of thing. Even the artists don't even see what them are do. So it's like a bunch of blind people lead a bunch of blind people. But it is time for us to wake up, Jamaica. Time for us to wake up and smell the roses. But anyways, let me tap the talking, and get into this morning's set of story. So we're going to hear from the Commissioner of Police, that's Dr. Kevin Blake, as he gives answers to questions being asked by journalists, as he gives a better overview of what is happening within the ranks of the JCF. Then we're going to hear from Prime Minister Andrew Holness, as he too also weighed in on the massive gun fine. And also the fact that the United States has also lowered our security risk, their travel advisory, to 2, from 4 to 2, which will most definitely boost economic growth in some way, shape or form. And he also will give a better overview of plans within the security of our nation's borders and within the nation itself. So, without further ado, Commissioner of Police, then Prime Minister Andrew Holness, please, my peeps, stay tuned and listen. You will most definitely want to hear what will be said. Yeah, man.
Anthony Lug, Television Jamaica. Commissioner Dr. Horace Chang, the reduction in murders coincide with the increase in police fatal shootings. Some continue to question these figures and are making claims about a killer squad in the security forces. Could you respond to those claims, please?
You mentioned inner squad. I don't know from where that comes, right? But that's absolutely not how we operate. We have no such thing. As a matter of fact, the JCF of today, if you notice, there's no one individual, there's no one formation, there's no one name. The name brand policing era has gone. What you hear is a Jamaica Constabulary Force. Thank you. Secondly, I went at length in one of my articles to outline the various oversight bodies around the JCF. And I must say that we probably have the largest number of oversight body in any police organization in this side of the world. It means, therefore, the things that sometimes people say, it defies logic. It defies logic. We just have a seizure of 233 weapons, over 40,000 rounds of ammunition and counting. I don't know what we think those things were for. This is what my men and women are up against every single day. Every single day. We have a country where year after year we have over 1,000 people murdered on our streets. These are the guys with the brains that tell them that it is good to murder someone on camera in broad daylight. These are the same guys using the same brain when we tell them, if we are coming for you, lay your weapons down. But it surprised some of us sometimes that these persons would not turn their weapons against the police force, members of the security force. And so I find it difficult for us not to understand what is logical and quickly push something that is as illogical as that. With the level of oversight that exists within the JCF, even if we had the intention of doing what some people say we would do, and when you look at the results of these investigations, then it's either those oversight bodies not doing their job, or the situation that is painted is not exactly as it is. And this sometimes forms a significant distraction to my men and women when they are out there facing these individuals on a daily basis. And we have to be careful when we say these things, because at the end of the day, there's a thing that we call self-preservation. And when you get police in self-preservation mode, it is the citizens who suffer. Because if every time you are up against these individuals, these hardened criminals who are not afraid to murder a 9-year-old, and then you become the victim every time, then the next time when you are to respond, that is in the back of your mind. It is hard work. It is hard work to remove that level of doubt from my members, to give them the confidence to go out there and face these challenges every day. And so we can't do without that type of narrative. Thank you very much.
Stuart from Nationwide News. One more question. So 33 guns have been seized, which means 33 hands are now empty that were expecting to have those guns and commit.
No, it's more than that. Let me give you the numbers. I'm going to give you the numbers again. 74 rifles, 159 handguns.
Yeah, so 233 guns have been seized, which means those are 233 hands that don't have those guns that would have if it wasn't found. In terms of the history, where does this rank among gun finds so far in Jamaica's history? And how much do you think this will play a role in the reduction in murders and major crimes you've seen so far?
Well, it is certainly, I'm tempted to say it is the largest. It is the largest, still doing our checks, we believe so. So I will be cautious and say it is certainly one of the largest that we have seen. Certainly one of the largest. And as the Minister rightfully mentioned, so far this year, so last year was a record-breaking year in terms of firearm recovery, 833. So far this year, although only 5 months in the year, we are 83% of the total figure for last year. And these are not only by large seizures like this. This is actually police facing people in the communities and disarming gang members in communities. And so the work, these are the manifestation of what is happening by our men and women out there on the street. Thank you.
Thank you.
An important point to be made. A part of Plan Secure Jamaica was to ensure that the organized criminal gangs did not have the main instrument of violence, which in Jamaica is a firearm. And we did several things to achieve this. First, we had a change of the legislation, which introduced minimum mandatory sentences. We had a gun amnesty, which we draw a line to say everyone who is in possession of an illegal weapon, you have an opportunity to turn it over without prejudice. Then we strengthen our relationships with our international partners. The United States put in a special prosecutor. There was a strengthening of the relationship with the JCF. And what's it called, the fine? Right, we established the firearm. Right, FNID. We established FNID. We are about to finalize and sign the Customs Mutual Assistance Agreement which will improve the coordination between our local customs and U.S. customs, which will then begin to really tighten the contraband and illegal weapons coming into the ports. And we made investments in scanners, where we are programmed to make more investments and to change the nature in which the scanning takes place. I won't go too much into that, but we also made some personnel and institutional changes, and we're strengthening the Jamaica Customs. I want to, at this point, I think the police has gotten a lot of congratulations and commendations. We must now give some commendation to both MOCA and to Jamaica Customs, because they have been working quietly behind the scenes in the background to do the intelligence, the coordination, all the work that is happening to be able to begin to find these weapons, to detect them, and to recover them. Again, I want to use this platform. I don't like to say I'm warning. I'm giving advice to those who the advice applies to. Don't bother with it. We will find the guns and we will find you. I've always said it. Before, our capacity was here and the problem was here. Our capacity is now here, and we're going to drive the problem all the way down. In 2016, our national murder rate, which is the number of murders per 100,000, stood at somewhere in the region of about 49.6 murders per 100,000 Jamaicans. A figure that was deeply troubling and which placed us in the category of one of the highest murder rates globally. Today, I can report that based on the year-to-date data, Jamaica is seeing a 43% reduction in murders. In other words, we are 43% less murders today than we were last year. And if you annualize this, then we would have a murder rate of 24.3 per 100,000. So we have literally cut the murder rate in half. Murder is used as for Jamaicans at least, the metric for judging safety and security within the country. And if that is the metric, then clearly this administration has done a fantastic job in cutting the murder rate significantly. And when you look at the statistics, the last time that we were this low would be 1991, almost 35 years ago. So it is an amazing achievement by all or any measure at all that we have managed to achieve this. This is not by chance. It is the result of strategic and unprecedented investment in national security. Since 2016, this administration has invested $87 billion in security. $87 billion, more than 3 times what was invested by previous administration before 2016. So we are investing roughly about $9 billion per year in security. This shows our intent. It's not just talking about security. It's not just praying about security. It is actually doing the work. It is actually making the effort and making the allocations for security. And that is yielding great results. The investment in security was not only in the JDF, where significant resources were placed in securing our borders, in acquiring offshore patrol vessels, maritime aircraft, radars, and other things which we don't give too much information on. It was not only the investment in the JCF, in the refleeting of the JCF, in the introduction of better communications, better forensic, greater investigation, the changing of the doctrine and leadership, the human resource development, increasing the complement of the JDF, which is now close to more than 8,000, moving it from about 5,000, and moving the JCF to its establishment from about 9,000 to 14,000 persons now in the JCF. Significant improvement in human resources as well. But I'd also want to point out that we have made significant investments in the Jamaica Customs Agency, both in terms of the improvement in their own systems and processes and human resource development, but also in the technology that they use, in striking greater partnerships with our international partners, and significant investment in greater scanning technology. And what you're seeing now with this recent find, there you have it, 233 weapons of mass destruction for Jamaica. We were able to detect them using our scanning technology, and we were able to recover them. The investigations are ongoing, and I am certain that our security forces will track down, along with our international partners, those who were responsible for this. We have always said that if we were to reduce crime, you would see a significant increase in our GDP. Well, you're going to see that now. You're going to see, first of all, an increase in tourism. You're going to see a change in the nature of the tourism that we have. Immediately, you're going to see Jamaica becoming a place for conventions, a market which we had a foothold in, but not a strong foothold. Now we have the ability to market ourselves in this way. But more than that, Jamaica then becomes a place for community tourism, because persons who would like to visit, they hear so much about Jamaica, but the travel advisors say, don't go here and don't go there. And who are the people making it impossible for us to develop the potential that we have in community tourism? It's the organized criminals preventing you from realizing your natural asset and true potential. So it is in our interest as a people to support the government's thrust in getting rid of the gangs and the organized criminals, so that we can truly embrace this new Jamaica that is dawning and emerging, for us to recognize and fulfill our true potential. Make an appeal to our Jamaicans overseas and those who are here collaborating in the importation of illegal weapons. We will find them, and we will find you, and we are serious about this. The government has made an investment in not just equipment, technology, and personnel and leadership, but we have made an investment in commitment. And I believe that this point must be driven home to all those who are of a criminal intent. We will meet your persistence with our commitment. We will strengthen our intention with even greater investment. We will overcome organized criminal enterprises in Jamaica. And what you are seeing happening is the government developing the capacity which we didn't have before. We now have the capacity to overcome organized violence and organized criminal enterprise in Jamaica. So effectively, what we have done is to change the risk-reward function, if you want to call it that, in crime in Jamaica. So for those people who are contemplating being involved in criminal activity, there is no reward in it anymore. What we're going to see happen is that the price of a gun on the illegal market is going to skyrocket. But more than that, the risk of trying to import an illegal gun has increased. And so that is going to cut off the supply. And we're going to continue to push with greater technology, greater systems to discover them. And we're going to continue to push against the criminals who continue to organize crime. And we expect that we will be able to sustain this reduction in murders in the coming years and to make Jamaica the safe place that we know it will be. But now is not a time for us to become celebratory, lest it leads to complacency. The violence challenge that we have, the crime problem that we have, is multifaceted, and we have only dealt with one dimension of it. Granted, it is the main dimension of the problem, which is the organized nature of violence that we have in the country, the organized institutional violence, and that's what we're dealing with. But there is still what I term the social violence, the use of violence as a means of social interaction, the use of violence to resolve conflicts, the use of violence to discipline children, the use of violence in intimate partner relationships. and the use of violence to solve neighborly conflicts. We just saw a disturbing video of two neighbors in a conflict. One ended up being shot and killed. And as we reduce the murder rate and we reduce the organized violence, the social violence becomes now the center of focus and activity. But we long knew this. And so within our plan, Secure Jamaica, we had a strategy of how we're going to deal with this issue of social violence. And that is why we empaneled and had a long study headed by Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan, and she has produced the report. The report is in the possession of the government now. We will bring it to Cabinet shortly, and once Cabinet has reviewed it, then it will be tabled in Parliament. This report, we hope, will trigger a national conversation about who we are as a people and why violence has become such a featured part of our national profile. And how are we going to change that? Certain actions, the government has already contemplated certain actions that we will have to take, particularly dealing with how violence is dealt with in the schools, how violence is dealt with at home, and how violence is dealt with our women and girls. We saw this really disturbing road rage incident, if you can call it that, where a nurse was terribly abused, and the brutal killing of a 9-year-old girl a few weeks ago. So these are all issues that the nation now has to focus on if we're going to truly keep this murder rate down and get to what we have always said, the regional average and below. The regional average is 16 per 100,000. There was once a time in Jamaica when our murder rate was 3%, yes, in the 1960s, and we can get back there, right? This is not us. We have come to accept it in our music, we talk or we interact with each other, but this is not us. And we are now right on the cusp of correcting these age-old problems. I want to join the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of National Security and all well-thinking Jamaicans in welcoming the announcement of the United States government, the decision to upgrade its travel advisory for Jamaica from a level 3 to a level 2. This is significant for Jamaica, and it is indeed an encouraging development, one that reflects the hard work and commitment and discipline that this administration has brought to bear in matters of national security and foreign affairs. This upgrade is not incidental. There are those who will seek to dismiss it or downplay it. But for those persons particularly affected in the tourism sector, persons who are understanding of the impact of a negative travel advisory, the importance of this moment is well understood. It is the direct result of years of targeted policy implementation, investments in security infrastructure, and sustained diplomatic engagement. It signals to the international community that Jamaica is safer and a more secure destination, not only for visitors, but for residents. We had the privilege of hosting U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and during his visit, our efforts in security reform, economic resilience, and law enforcement modernization was made clear. We took the opportunity to showcase how our government has been resolute in its mission to make Jamaica a safer, stronger, and more prosperous country.